Hi. So, talking about leaders providing direction. Good leaders don't direct, they don't command and control. And a great example of a leadership shift from command and control to one of empowerment and trust is David Marquet, who was the captain of the submarine Santa Fe. And he wrote up his experience in a book called Turn the Ship Around. And he was an experienced officer when he took over command of the Santa Fe. And the Santa Fe was a submarine that had the worst performance record, the worst retention record. It was at bottom of the bottom. And Captain Marquet had, and I apologise if it's Marquet, but Captain Marquet had been trained in the command and control type of leadership. And, you know, it was really believed that it was necessary, especially when you're commanding a nuclear powered submarine and the high stress in submarine, that, you know, there's little tolerance for risk. But as soon as he hadn't long taken over captain of the ship when he knew he was in trouble, he gave, and I'll read this just to make sure, he gave an impossible order and his crew tried to follow it anyway. When he asked why, the answer was, because you told me to. And he realised that while he'd been trained for a different submarine, his crew had been trained to do just what they were told, which was a deadly combination. He gave a command that was impossible to fulfill. And that's the moment that his realisation was that traditional leadership model of leader-follower needed to be changed to leader-leader. And he says that people moving from command and control to, or leader-follower to leader-leader, will find it hard because it's, you know, how you've been leading for a long time, commanding and controlling. But he gave control over to the crew. And within 24 hours, there was a massive difference in how the crew behaved. They became leaders themselves, they became engaged, they became inspired, became motivated. And he gave instruction where the information was. He didn't have all the answers, he was the captain. He couldn't be in the engine room or other places. And the Santa Fe went from the worst to the first and achieved the highest accolades and standings in the Navy ever. And things continued to improve after he departed from the Santa Fe. The leader-leader model resulted not only in the Santa Fe winning more awards, but also in more officers and enlisted men being promoted to positions of increased responsibility than any other submarine, and including 10 who became submarine captains. A link to a video describing Turn the Ship Around in this week's newsletter.